By the time most people realize they chose wrong, the system already treats their decision as permanent. Not because anyone forced them, not because they weren't warned, but because changing your mind quietly became more expensive than living with regret. Tonight, you're sitting in your apartment. A notification waits on your screen. Complete your life path selection to maintain service eligibility. You've been ignoring it for weeks, but tonight you open it. 3 options appear: standard family track, independent professional track, simplified living track. Each looks reasonable, each feels safe, and for a moment you still believe this is freedom. You read the descriptions carefully: tax optimization, healthcare priority tiers, residential placement assistance. Nothing threatening, nothing controlling. So you choose the one that sounds most like what you already wanted anyway. It started as a voluntary system, a way to streamline social services. Declare your intentions early and the system could plan around you. Faster permits, better housing matches, smarter resource allocation. It made sense, and technically, it's still optional. But within 2 years, the incentives began to stack. People who selected a path got approved faster, for apartments, for loans, for school placements. People who didn't weren't punished. They just waited longer. Longer queues, more paperwork, more delays. No one called it coercion, they called it efficiency. You watched friends choose one by one. Some hesitated, some clicked immediately. Everyone said the same thing afterward. It's basically what I was going to do anyway. And mostly that was true. The paths are broad. They don't dictate your life. They only optimize it. Standard family track favors stability. Professional track favors mobility. Simplified living favors restraint. Nothing is forbidden, but everything is nudged. Your insurance begins asking for your life path. Your employer's application includes it as an optional field. Your lease mentions that building amenities are optimized for your track. You tell yourself none of this matters. You were already planning something similar anyway. So what's the harm in making it official? 3 years later, a friend tells you she wants to change paths. She chose professional track. Now she wants a family. Switching isn't forbidden, but it requires a formal review. Her employer gets notified. Her benefits reset. Certain healthcare support won't transfer for a year. She could change, but it would cost months of instability, so she doesn't. She tells you quietly, "I didn't choose wrong. Things just changed." No one designed the paths to trap people. They were designed to reward clarity. But clarity hardens into expectation, and expectation hardens into obligation. People on family track start having children earlier, not from desire, but from coverage incentives. People on professional track stop pursuing relationships, not from selfishness, but from logistics. People on simplified living stop applying for certain jobs, not from lack of ability, but from perception. The system stays neutral. The pressure comes from everywhere else. At a dinner party, someone admits they're still undesignated. 29, no life path. The table goes quiet. Someone asks gently, "Are you doing okay?" They mean well, but everyone knows what undesignated means now. Uncertain, unreliable, hard to plan around. Not dangerous, just inconvenient. And in a world built on optimization, inconvenience feels like risk. Later, you meet someone who tried to leave his path. Standard family track, marriage, child, then divorce. He wants to switch to professional track, travel, rebuild. The system allows it, but custody agreements are tied to residency zones. Changing paths means changing housing, which means renegotiating custody, which takes almost a year. His employer won't wait. The new position goes to someone simpler. He stays, not because he wants to, but because leaving costs more than enduring. He tells you, "No one forced me. I chose this." And he's right. That's what makes it worse. You start noticing it in your own life. You turn down a job in another city, not because you didn't want it, but because relocation complicates your benefits. You stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, because changing housing mid-path requires joint approval. You stopped asking certain questions about your future, because the answers might not fit anymore. The system never controlled you. It just made every alternative slightly harder. Not impossible, just expensive. And over time, expensive becomes unthinkable. There's a growing group of undesignated people. They trade advice, how to delay prompts, which services still work, which employers don't check. They're not rebels, they just wanted more time. But the world isn't built for people who hesitate anymore. Hesitation now looks like instability, and instability looks like risk. You think back to the night you made your selection. You remember the relief, the structure, the feeling of finally committing. But you also remember the moment before you clicked, when all three futures were still possible, when your life still felt unfinished. You weren't afraid of choosing wrong. You were afraid of choosing at all. Because once you chose, the other versions of you didn't disappear. They just stopped being supported. People still use the word choice. It's in every agreement, every policy, every screen. You are free to choose, as long as what you want is one of the options, as long as you don't hesitate too long, as long as you don't change your mind. The system never forced anyone. It just made compliance easier than resistance. And in the end, that was enough. What do you call freedom when every path away from it costs more than you can afford?